Today is May 28th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, it's been a while. Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
I am doing well. I think, you, me, and the rest of baseball fans last night rejoiced as Bob Nightingale tweeted out the news that Angel Hernandez is retiring effective today. And we'll miss all of the highlights, but I think a lot of the players are going to miss not having to deal with the bad calls from the umpire of 3 decades in Major League Baseball. It seems like this was a long time coming.
Well, I'm actually surprised by it. I do appreciate his colleagues reaching out and saying what a great guy he was, and I just, I think they're right. There's no need to bury a guy. He was asked to retire. He did. The status of the group of umpires should be elevated. Hope he doesn't get replaced with a guy just as bad. And I think missing balls and strikes and safe outs and all the things umpires do that drive people crazy is one thing. But then having an overbearing personality on top of it, I think that's the part that really got to people. Yeah. And so I think baseball took too long to get to this point. Having said that, I don't rejoice in a guy, being tarred and feathered. I'm not a big mob mentality groupthink guy. He was bad at his job. They moved on. You're right. It took him a while to get there, but they finally were able to figure out a way to do it.
I didn't realize that he hadn't umpired a game since May 9th, that they had kind of pulled him off of games from doing that. Did not realize that he hadn't been around in a while, and I guess after a week or so of not seeing highlights, we all should have known anyway.
Well, it wasn't even 2 weeks. So, I don't really have anything to add to it. That era is over. It was bad for him. I do feel bad that his family caught the brunt of a lot of criticism. That's as bad as it can get. That's awful. So it's probably better for him and his family that he walks away.
So moving on to the on-field stuff, we had a lot of rain this this weekend. Friday night's game that was supposed to be Joe Buck and Chip Carey on the call got washed out. No word if they're going to try to make that up at any point this season, though I imagine it gets harder as the season goes on and Joe gets closer and closer to football season.
What do you mean make up the two of them working?
Make up the two of them, yeah. The game itself is going to be made up July 13th. That's the Saturday before the All-Star break, so that'll be a doubleheader that weekend in St. Louis. So that's when that game is going to get made up.
I'm surprised, Joe, that they didn't fill the rain delay more. That was quite actually shocking to me. I wonder who said, let's go to our canned stuff rather than these two icons basically doing a talk show for an hour. I would have thought the real value would have been there. Somebody decided not to do it. I think it was a bad decision, but
I know it was several companies ago when you worked for when you did Cardinal games, but I was wondering if there is some sort of protocol in place as far as how rain delays are supposed to be handled in that situation. That was kind of my thinking of it, is that they're just kind of told, hey, we don't have a timetable on it, we got to go to this.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Okay.
Now, any given company can make a policy. Yeah, 20 minutes of banter and then it's time to move on and blah, blah, blah. But that's what you have. Even if that is a Bally's policy, somebody in charge has to be smart enough to say, this could be once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's don't blow it. Now, on the other hand, it might not be a suit. What if Joe said, I don't want to do that. Hey, Joe, let's do an hour. And Joe and Chip go, no, we don't want to do that. That's perfectly reasonable and possible. And I would just say I'm disappointed that it didn't happen.
Claves mentioned that Stubby Clapp on Sunday went up to the radio booth and kind of hung out with them for a half an hour during the rain delay. Just, I think Claves added it up to 7 hours of rain delays this past week for Cardinal games. And I think Stubby just kind of had enough of the clubhouse and was just like, you know what? I'm going to go wander around Busch Stadium and see what I can get into.
Yeah, I get that.
Right.
And it's nice of him to come up and join the fellas.
Yeah.
Shows you the rapport that Claves and John have with players and coaches and front office, that they're comfortable just coming in and shooting the breeze. I think that's great.
The Cardinals did sweep the Cubs in that 2-game series, won 10 of their last 12. And Claves and I were talking about this an hour ago, Rammer. If 3 weeks ago the Cardinals would have lost a Monday afternoon game 3-1 after a homestand, we would have sat here and we would have ripped on Turner Ward. We would have ripped on BA. We would have ripped on the team, talking about how they need to trade them and somebody needs to get fired. But after you win 10 out of 12 and then you go and you have a flat game like that, it seems like we kind of, hey, you know what? Hey, this is why we kind of help them with the excuses for why they were a little flat yesterday. And I don't think anybody expected them to go out and put up a 15 spot either.
Well, don't you think that's reasonable though?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying winning kind of changes our
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When a team's playing like dog crap, that's the expected response to those things. When a team's playing better baseball, you get a hiccup because no team, the best teams in the history of the game, lost 50 games or more. So you're not going to win all your games. However, I still don't think this team has reached its potential, or maybe they have, and I'm hoping for more. The defense has been shabby, even during this streak, which is very unusual to be able to win with shabby defense. And the offense has been way better, but yesterday you could see fatigued bats, bunch of strikeouts, no walks. But, you get 4 or 5 hours sleep max and then have to go play a game. That's hard to do.
It is an anomaly right now with this defense. You were talking about the team that was the last team in Major League Baseball to make an error to start the 2024 season. And I don't know what the numbers are now, but I saw over the weekend when they reached 9 straight games with an error, that was the longest streak that they had since 2002. Yeah. They're up to 12 straight games with an error now. So you're talking 25 plus years of Cardinal baseball, probably a lot more than that, where the team has gone 12 consecutive games making an error, and yet they're still winning.
That's what I'm saying. That is those two things don't usually fit together. And also keep in mind, of those errors, 2 or 3 of those are Arenado, a couple are Goldschmidt, a couple more are Mason Wynn. Are we really worried about any of those 3 defensively? I don't think so. If Gorman was out there with a butcher knife, if it was a half a dozen errors by this mix and match outfield, if the catchers were just booting the ball all over behind the plate, we might go, this is a problem. But when at least half of those errors are by 3 stellar defensive players, it's why I'm not too concerned. My concern with Arenado, Joe, is that he's letting his hitting woes affect him defensively.
Yeah, I was just about to bring up the quote from Nolan Arenado from this past weekend, talking to John Denton after the game. It's bad. The swing is not good. My swing is not good. I've been working on it and trying to figure this thing out, but my swing is not good. This after his 0-for-4 game yesterday, saying that he has really felt like he's been struggling for the last 5 months of baseball. A guy that seemed to be a shoo-in future Hall of Famer talking about this and at this point in his career. And I would venture to say the All-Star break can't come fast enough for Nolan Arenado to kind of
you're talking 2 months away.
I am, but it's not like but I'm just saying to get a break, because he's not going to take 2-3 nights off to reset. I can't imagine he's going to do that. And if he's struggling this much to where he's openly talking about it, I just don't see something clicking overnight.
I don't know. I'm not comfortable saying either way, because we've seen guys all of a sudden get hot for no apparent reason. So to say that's not going to happen to him, a guy with a track record, gosh, I'm not willing to go there, Joe.
I think the best thing with another day coming off is to kind of double up on it. They have had off days over the past few. If you want to call them off days, but they've been rainouts. But I think if you just give them a scheduled day off coming up tomorrow, and you say, "Look, you're sitting tomorrow. You're not going to do anything. We are giving you 2 full days off away from baseball." I think that would be the first and a step to help benefit him, kind of, just getting his mind back right.
I think that's a reasonable position, but I don't know him well enough. Some people dwell on problems when they're on their own sitting. Some guys prefer to work through them. I don't know Nolan, so I don't know what works for him. And probably he doesn't either. So you may try that. You may try having him work through stuff. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be driving to Cincinnati to let them know. But both things can be true. I got to work through my problems, or I need to walk away from the game for a couple days.
We talked about it so much when Goldschmidt was struggling about moving him around in the lineup, dropping him in the lineup and changing where he was. And that is something that we haven't really talked about with Nolan Arenado. Now, granted, Paul Goldschmidt was hitting under 200 at the time when we were talking about him needing to bat 6th or 7th in the lineup. Arenado still, as of yesterday, when he went into the game, was hitting 260, which in this lineup right now is somewhat respectable. But when you look at right now, they did drop him down to 5th in the lineup yesterday.
Yeah.
So they are slowly moving him down right now. The injury to Lars Nootbaar doesn't help, because in a perfect world where Lars is healthy and able to contribute, you have him batting second, or you have Mason Wynn higher in the lineup like he was leading off yesterday, and you're able to put Alec Burleson and Ivan Herrera in front of Nolan Arenado at this time, because Burleson and Wynn are carrying your offense right now.
Correct.
And they both, they need to be higher, much higher in the lineup, and I like Burleson hitting 2 where he was up until yesterday.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are by and large doing things that I would agree with as a lineup nerd. I think sometimes they're a little slow to react, but I think they're making generally smart lineup moves. And as we've said a number of times before, and I got to give it a tip of the cap to our friend, the great writer and broadcaster, Bernie Miklasz, who said, when you're going good, the lineup doesn't really matter. And when you're going really bad, the lineup doesn't really matter. And so, but you're always, the attempt is always to put your players in a position to be successful, and hopefully one slot aids the one in front and the one behind. So, yeah, I think Ollie's doing the right thing by and large as he moves these guys around.
They face another lefty tonight in the game, 5:40 start time, Andrew Abbott on the mound. So I would expect to see another game of Mason Wynn leading on in that leadoff spot with the lefty up there, and I like that a whole lot.
As I mentioned that in March.
Did you mention it back in March?
Yes.
If I cared enough, I would go back and listen.
But see, I know you don't. That's why I felt comfortable throwing it out there.
This is where I regret not getting an intern into the Summer Claves Online program, internship program.
Oh, that's beautiful.
5:40 start time tonight. It's Kyle Gibson against Andrew Abbott. Rammer, I'm not sure what time we are going to be able to do the show tomorrow, but I can tell you that right now, Cardinals starter is TBD. As I think, we expect it to be Palante, but we will we'll see.
I sure hope not. I don't think Andre, he just doesn't feel like a starter to me. And if it is him, I hope he shoves and proves me and any other detractors wrong. I want the team to win. I don't see it, but who knows?
We'll be back your way tomorrow. It's an afternoon game for Cardinals and Cincinnati before the Cardinals are off on Thursday and head to Philly this weekend. Yeah. And hey, you know what? You get Sonny Gray lined up to face the Phillies. So I'm looking forward to that, whatever day it ends up being on this weekend. This is Daily Cards Live. We're brought to you every day by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Rammer Royal Banks.
Royal Banks of Missouri, over 60 years in our area as your hometown bank, but that hometown area is expanding. St. Louis proper, the east side, St. Charles County, Northeast Missouri, and each and every branch feels like your hometown bank. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. Talk to you tomorrow right here on Daily Cards Live.
Mungenast St. Louis Acura is making room for the 2025 MDX, so that means great deals for you on the 2024 MDX. We have over 100 2024 MDX models in stock, and you get financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months. Or you can lease a new MDX for just $559 per month for 36 months. Or get the MDX technology model for just $589 per month for 36 months. Mungenast St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.